Forget yeast. Brew this living soil tonic that lasts. Healthy soil is not built by chance. It is crafted. Every gardener dreams of soil that feels alive in their hands, rich with microbes, buzzing with energy, and capable of producing vibrant, resilient crops. Yet many rush to quick fixes, like yeast-based brews, thinking they're unlocking a miracle. The truth is, yeast offers only a temporary jolt, a flash of activity that quickly fades. If you're looking for long-lasting results, there is a better, more sustainable way. Today, we'll dive into a proven method for brewing a living soil tonic that doesn't just wake up your plants for a moment. It transforms your soil into a self-sustaining ecosystem for months to come. Why yeast is not enough. Yeast is often marketed as a fast solution because it ferments sugars quickly, releasing a burst of activity. While this might look promising in the first few days, the effect doesn't last. Yeast consumes sugars pretty rapidly, multiplies, and then dies off once the food runs out. This means your soil may get a short pulse of microbial action, but nothing that really sustains the living community your plants truly depend on. In fact, yeast on its own just lacks the diversity of microbes that soils crave. Without bacteria, actinomycetes, protozoa, and fungi all working together, soil life becomes, unbalanced. To build soil that truly thrives, you need a recipe that actually cultivates this diversity, and that's where this special brew comes in. The power of fermentation for soil health is, honestly, remarkable. Fermentation is nature's way of preserving life. Unlike those yeast-only brews, true microbial tonics are built through lactic acid bacteria fermentation. These organisms break down organic matter, suppress harmful pathogens, and create conditions where beneficial microbes can really thrive. Instead of giving your soil a sugar rush, fermentation unlocks nutrients in a slow-release form, keeps them stable, and introduces a thriving microbial army into the soil food web. When you pour this brew into your garden, you're not just feeding plants, you're feeding an entire underground ecosystem. The simple formula that works. This soil tonic uses easily available ingredients, yet the effect is extraordinary. Okay, so here is the exact recipe you can use at home. You'll need 2 liters of rice wash water. That's the cloudy water you get from rinsing rice. Then, 500 milliliters of unsweetened milk, 2 tablespoons of molasses or pure honey, and finally, 1 clean glass jar with a breathable lid or a cloth cover. To prepare it, just rinse rice with clean water and collect that very first wash. This rice water is actually rich in starch, which acts as food for lactic acid bacteria. Pour it into your jar, cover it loosely with a breathable cloth, and let it sit at room temperature for 2 to 3 days. You'll soon notice, a sour smell and a layer of separation. This is the first stage where lactic acid bacteria naturally begin to multiply. Next, strain out the liquid and mix it with your unsweetened milk. The milk provides proteins and fats that help beneficial microbes flourish while suppressing unwanted ones. Cover it again and let it ferment for 5 to 7 days, stirring gently every day. You'll notice the liquid separating into curds and whey. The whey is your treasure. It's the concentrated liquid full of lactic acid bacteria. Finally, you'll want to strain out the curds and keep the liquid. Add 2 tablespoons of molasses or honey, give it a good stir, and, your microbial tonic is ready to go. Store it in a clean bottle, making sure to leave a little headspace for any gases. If you keep it cool and out of direct sunlight, it'll stay alive for months. When it's time to apply, always remember to dilute before use. Mix 30 milliliters, which is about 2 tablespoons, of the tonic into 1 liter of water. For larger gardens, that means 300 milliliters in 10 liters of water. You can use this as a soil drench around your plant roots or as a foliar spray, about once every 2 weeks. So, why does this brew outperform yeast? Well, the secret to this tonic's power is really its microbial diversity. Lactic acid bacteria are like natural guardians of the soil. They break down organic matter into forms that plants can easily absorb, improve soil structure, and, even suppress harmful pathogens. Unlike yeast, which burns out pretty quickly, this community of microbes can actually persist in the soil, multiply further, and just keep working long after application. Another major advantage here is the stability of nutrients. Yeast releases nutrients in a burst, and honestly, much of that just leaches away or evaporates. But this tonic, on the other hand, locks nutrients in organic complexes, keeping them available for a much longer time. Think of it like investing in a savings account instead of spending everything at once. Your plants benefit steadily, season after season. Let's talk about the impact on soil structure. Soil is more than just dirt. It's actually a living sponge that holds water, air, and nutrients. When you apply this tonic, microbes start binding soil particles into these stable aggregates. This, in turn, improves aeration, water retention, and root penetration. Over time, compacted soils loosen up. Sandy soils are able to hold moisture better, and clay soils start to drain more freely. The difference? Well, it can be felt just by digging into your beds. The soil becomes crumbly, darker, and honestly, much easier to work with. Boosting plant immunity naturally is, well, one of those hidden benefits of this microbial tonic. You see, lactic acid bacteria produce organic acids and bioactive compounds that discourage disease-causing organisms in the soil. Plants growing in this environment face less pressure from things like root rots, damping off, and foliar diseases. Even better, the microbes actually trigger plants to activate their own immune systems, making them more resilient to stress. This means fewer chemical sprays, healthier harvests, and, honestly, crops that taste better because they're grown in balance with living soil. Now, let's talk about some practical ways to use the brew in your garden. There are 2 main ways you can put this tonic to work. The first is as a soil drench. All you need to do is simply water the diluted mixture around the base of your plants, allowing it to soak deep into the root zone. This jumpstarts microbial activity right where plants need it most. Do this every 2 weeks during the growing season and after heavy rains that may have leached nutrients away. The second method is as a foliar spray. When applied to leaves, microbes coat the plant surface, creating a protective layer that makes it harder for harmful organisms to establish themselves. They also release nutrients directly through the leaf surface, giving crops a quick yet balanced boost. For foliar application, make sure to spray in the early morning or late afternoon when the sun is not too harsh, preventing leaf burn. Scaling up for larger gardens? Well, it's actually pretty simple. If you are managing a larger plot, you can easily multiply this tonic. Once you have the mother culture, just add 50 milliliters of it into 1 liter of fresh rice wash water with a spoon of molasses and let it ferment for 5 days. This extends your supply without losing quality. Many experienced growers, keep a small mother stock refrigerated and brew larger batches whenever needed. Building soil that lasts for seasons. Now that's the real goal. The greatest reward of switching from yeast to this living tonic isn't just better crops today. It's soil that keeps improving year after year. With every application, you're layering biology into the soil, feeding not only plants but also earthworms, nematodes, and fungi that form the backbone of a healthy ecosystem. Over time, your soil develops resilience, meaning it can bounce back from drought, pests, or heavy harvests. Instead of starting from scratch each season, you build momentum, making every year better than the last. For gardeners serious about long-term fertility, yeast is simply too small a solution for such a big dream. This living tonic is a smarter investment, offering diversity, stability, and resilience in a way yeast never can. By brewing and applying it with care, you are not just growing plants, you are cultivating life itself in the soil. And when the soil thrives, everything above it thrives too. If you found this guide valuable, don't forget to subscribe to Growth Hub Central Crops for more practical, science-backed gardening strategies. Share this with a fellow gardener who could use healthier soil and stronger crops. Together, we can build gardens that don't just survive, but flourish for generations.